All right, joining us now from Abuja is security consultant Colonel Tony Inyam, retired. Colonel, good morning. It's good to have you join us, and happy Armed Forces Remembrance Day.
Good morning.
All right. Now, let me start from the rhetoric question that we posed earlier. 50 years after the Nigerian Civil War, as a nation and as a people, has Nigeria really healed from the impact of the Civil War in our social fabric?
I think the lessons of what led to the Civil War, the lessons to be learned from them, it does appear that we have not learned much from the lessons. And I think it's a good opportunity for us to look back and learn from the lessons.
And the question has arisen, why does it matter for us to reflect on the lessons?
I didn't get that.
The question has arisen as to why do we have to reflect on the lessons of the war that took place 50 years ago?
Because some of the, like it's been said by a few people, the country is becoming more, it appears to be more divided. And things are getting so bad on that score that the lessons need to be learned. For example, what led to one of the missed opportunities Nigeria had was that a conference was held in Ghana, Aburi, and an accord was reached. An accord was reached to return Nigeria back to federalism, which the military had turned to. That is, Aguiyi-Ironsi's government had made Nigeria a one unitary system. Aburi Accord agreement was reached to return Nigeria back to genuine federalism. But after the meetings, people advised the head of state, General Gowon, and as the way he put it, he said there were different interpretations, but clearly there was an agreement reached. I find, for example, we need to be very careful. For example, the declaration by the federal government that the yearnings, for example, of the Omo Oduduwas, that is the Southwest, for a self-defense initiative, to say that is illegal, it shows that we've not learned the mistake we made in the Aburi, the way Aburi Accord. Here was Amotokum was reached after seminars were held. The Inspector General of Police was in attendance. There was a discussion. They went through those discussions. Suddenly, for the federal government to then say that such an organization is illegal, I think is far-fetched. I think the president, as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and as the official who swore to provide welfare and security of Nigerians, must not allow himself to be led by the advice of those who should obey the government. We are in a democracy where the civilian authority, elected civilian authority, is the authority. And that authority should not be delegated to members of the armed forces or the police to dictate to the president. The president should be advised that it will be a missed opportunity to declare the yearnings of the people as exhibited by Professor Wole Soyinka, by the governors. The governors didn't want it. It is the yearning of the people that the governors heard. And of course, as you know, he said Yorubas are like, they follow what the people. So right. I think for the government to say what the Yorubas want is illegal, it will be a missed opportunity.
All right,
I'm
Colonel.
happy the president has not commented yet.
Okay, Colonel, because you're drawing our attentions to some of these kind of issues that we have to learn from. Now, let's come to the welfare of families of fallen heroes and even those who are still in service and those who are retired. A lot of Nigerians have concerns with the way that they have been treated. Can you talk to us about that?
I didn't hear that, please. Could you make it louder, please?
All right. I'm asking regarding the welfare of families of fallen heroes and even those who have retired from service in Nigeria. What concerns do you have when we think about their welfare?
Especially families who lost their dad or their moms, who are the main breadwinners. There's need more. The concerns I have is that they are not catered for. A number of them, after they lose their husbands, after a while, they leave the military barracks. They are left with not much. I think much more needs to be done. And as to the retired men, soldiers and officers, I think the allowances or the pension for those below the rank of generals need to be looked at. I'm happy that the government is looking into that, because the increment they got was not as good as what the generals got.
All right.
And it is good. It will be good for all the men and rank in the armed forces to enjoy the same benefits as the generals are enjoying I'm talking of a pension.
All right. Thank you very much, Colonel Tony Nyam, retired. We really appreciate your contribution on this development right now. All right, joining us now from Abuja, security consultant, Colonel Tony Nyam, retired. Colonel, it's good to have you join us this morning. Now, when it comes to honoring the fallen heroes and those who are fighting and working hard to keep Nigeria united and one, how best can the Nigerian hero be honored?
Amongst other things, that the honor is in taking, like we were saying earlier, in taking care of the families of the heroes and heroines now, because the responsibility for defending the territorial integrity of Nigeria and what the troops are going through, they deserve to be honored in the best of ways by their need for better medical care for retired men, both in the military and those still serving and those retired.
All right, as much as we commend their effort and also look towards honoring them, one major source of concern in recent times is the integrity of these persons. And because before now, that didn't used to be questioned, especially when we talk about the elections. What changed between then and now?
What has changed, I wouldn't say it is the, I would say, political leadership is the problem. The military takes instructions from the elected civilian authority. And what has happened since democracy is that there has been over-interference by politicians in the recruitment and in fact even in the training of military personnel, where people send people that they must be recruited or enlisted and put pressure on those who elect them. That also comes out that people you see at times in the military are not the best the military would have had if they were allowed to allow people to join the military professionally.
All right. Now, there was a conference held a few days ago as part of marking the Armed Forces Remembrance Day. It was tagged Never Again, and it was focusing on the need for Nigerians to unite and never allow anything to divide them. We also saw the Never Again in Rwanda after the genocide. But however, we are still seeing, like a lot of Nigerians have said, that Nigerians have not learned from the experiences of the Civil War. But Rwanda, if we compare them, Rwanda has since moved on. What can Nigeria learn in these kind of scenarios where a country is coming to say never again?
I think first, there must be sincerity of purpose of the president, and from him, the other political leadership will take cue. If there's no sincerity of purpose, people begin to doubt. For example, like in that conference, like the Nobel laureate, Professor Wole Soyinka did say, remember, Professor Wole Soyinka was an active participant in trying to ensure to work that the Civil War did not happen. I was a young boy in a military school and then ended up in Government College Afikpo. Professor Wole Soyinka came to try to do his best to ensure that the Civil War did not happen. But his voice was not heard then. And I do pray his voice is heard clearly now by the statement he made in the last few days.
Professor Wole Soyinka was not the only person. There are still a lot of people who witnessed the Civil War at the time who are very much alive. When you look at this speaking up, questions have arisen. Is it so difficult to talk about what happened at the time such that people can learn from? Because it seems a lot of people do not want to have conversations around the Civil War.
You are right. The people who, in fact, are avoiding that discussion. If you look at South Africa and Northern Ireland in the UK, during the crisis, there was what the Truth and the Reconciliation Committee, where people came out, even those who committed atrocities, came out and confessed, and there was some closure. Someone once said that some of the problems with two eminent Nigerians and two close people I respect have said some of the nemesis we are facing has to do with the genocide against the Igbos and by extension the Eastern Nigerians in the last war. Until we deal with that nemesis, we will continue having problems. And like Chief Obafemi Awolowo said in 1986, we need to be much more sincere. This lack of sincerity of purpose is our problem. For example, you must, as government, listen to the yearnings of the people. The people are sovereign. And when a people, for example, want to contribute to their own security, and you do not allow them, and you say their yearnings are illegal, in itself is not learning lessons we should have learned.
From my experience.
For example, the Amotekun is actually putting the principle of community policing into action. And that was why the IG was a participant in the discussion. So suddenly,
all right, Colonel, we have to leave it here at this point. But we must thank you for your contribution on the show this morning. Thank you.